Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Speedify Live Office Hours. I'm your host, Alex Gizis. This is Mike Kane. We are some of the people who make Speedify. So we are here to answer your questions. So if you've got questions, type them away in the comments wherever you're watching this video, as long as that is, in fact, YouTube or Twitch, and we'll see them and we'll answer them. So it'll be super cool. While you're thinking about that, go ahead and follow, subscribe, whatever button is there so you get notified next time we're here. So we have a question for you. Are you guys happy with your 5G performance? Like, is your cellular good enough?
My cellular has been fantastic. I've been using it all week to use my Miri router and tether my phone and just using my cellular, and it's been phenomenal.
That's good.
When I have coverage.
About the rest of so we've got some new videos coming out. I'm not sure if they're quite ready yet on our YouTube. Where we're going to talk about what we know about 6G so far.
Love that.
6G is coming. It is not. There are all sorts of proposals for what's going to be in it. We talk about them, but it's not finalized yet. What is there is we've got some new videos, some new Between Two Palms, where we talk about Amazon's Project Kuiper. They are chasing after Starlink.
Fascinating.
They have started launching satellites.
So there are actually some satellites of Kuiper up in prototyping.
Yeah.
Wow.
The week before, they put up 27 production. The first 27 of their 3,000 real satellites went up.
This is getting wild.
And apparently it went great. All right, Speedify Babs. I can't imagine it being better. But then again, I'm from the dial-up era, so there's that. All right. Lyle says, T-Mobile 5G has been great. AT&T 5G, not so much. Yeah, I'm on AT&T with on this bad boy, which we actually have tethered right now.
Same.
I almost think 5G is worse than 4G.
Well, it's if you're actually getting the 5G when it tells you.
Experiments, but yeah, when it's not working, it usually says 5G, not no signal, which
it's connected to the tower, is not doing much.
Well, and AT&T is of course famous for lying about this stuff, right? So this Apple lets the cell phone provider control that little icon, whether it says 5G or LTE and stuff, a number of bars. That's actually controlled by your cellular provider, not Apple. And so, AT&T has a long history of just slapping getting caught, and they don't change it. Like, they'll slap the 5G up there if the 4G is working really well.
Seeing speeds, 5G.
Yeah, it reaches the kind of speeds people would expect from 5G.
Yeah.
They'll just slap it on there. So that's not great. Next up, 243 AST Spacemobile mega satellites. Yeah, I've been reading about this. I don't know that much. So this new they actually have a satellite constellation, but they're going to do their new constellation, which will compete with Starlink, and they're going with satellites that are huge.
Like, how big are we talking?
4 times the mass, so like 8,000-pound satellites.
What?
With these huge solar panels.
Oh.
So they're Brian, you've been reading that. If you could look up the size, I don't want to guess. They're big. They're people are complaining about the Starlinks blocking the stars.
I was going to say, so how long until we can't even see the moon? I mean, this is getting a little crazy.
It's coming. But that's why there's the NASA's doing the new mission to put a radio telescope on the far side of the moon. Right, we are putting telescopes past the satellites
because I know it's coming
and have them beam down. Like this is kind of game over. Internet access is important. So if we it's sad that we can't look up and see the stars anymore. But if we can put satellites on the moon, or telescopes on the moon, maybe that's just how it works. There it is. That's what I
Think
They're 2,500 square feet.
this doesn't seem good.
They're just huge.
My goodness. Who's gonna need a
the city,
dumpster
I
to
can't
clean
see
these
the
things
stars
up?
Anyway, Babs says. Yeah, that's right. I mean,
Some of us can, Babs. Some of us can. Man, 2,400 square feet. That's crazy.
yeah. But yes. The other weird thing, Kuiper. The head of Kuiper is the guy who was the head of satellite design for Starlink until Steve
Jobs, rest in peace.
Elon Musk fired him in 2018 for going too slow.
So he was like, "Forget you."
And so he put someone else in charge who he thought could go faster, and they've been going fast. Was it his fault? Was Musk right or wrong? I don't know. But Elon Musk fired the guy saying he wasn't going fast enough. And the new guy had satellites up within a year, and it's been 5 years now. And Starlink's been around for 5 years.
Time flies.
And they keep revving it. They added the lasers, and they added more base stations, and they, new versions of the satellites. I mean, virtually every batch of satellites has one thing tweaked. It's super impressive. It looks hard to me to catch up with Starlink.
He knew
if you
that.
have that kind of money, right?
Yeah. What happens when these things break? Are they just still floating forever up there?
Hey, Simple Jack says, hey, visiting the U.S. and using Speedify in Rhode Island and Pennsylvania currently. Nice.
What's up, Simple Jack?
All right, Lyle asks, can Speedify be used to bond bandwidth from 2 eSIMs on Android and or iOS? So here is the sad story. Each phone today of all the major brands actually only has one cellular radio. Even the ones with 2 SIM cards, it's one at a time. And they have a trick now with the DSDS where what they'll do is they'll spend 95% of the time on the network that you say to use for the primary data network. And then it'll hop over for like 50 milliseconds each second to ask on the other network, oh, by the way, do you have any texts for me? Any notifications? Blah, blah, blah. And if there aren't, it just pops right back.
Yeah.
So it can seem to you like both SIM cards are working. You get your texts on both at once. You're like, great, I'm on both networks. But not in a way that can be added up. You can't, if whatever time you spend on the second network is just subtracted off the time that the first network has access to the radio. So it doesn't actually help at all. Now, of course, you can have 2 phones and you can use parent share and use an eSIM on each one to let each other share. But that is the sad truth. Apparently, more than 10 years ago, there were some companies, particularly in China, that were making Android phones that actually had 2 radios. But as far as I can tell, they all gave up. So, yeah. Simple Jack saying, wait for the new X80 modems from Qualcomm. Should become possible with new phones soon. Yeah, wasn't there a rumor that some of the iPhones had one of those new chips that could do both? And it just turned out that, the chip might be capable, but Apple didn't wire up 2 antennas, and they didn't write the software, and that's just not what Apple's doing. It just happened to be in there.
And all the new phones for Apple have their new chip, or just certain ones?
So Apple has their new. We got videos about this on YouTube. Check out the Speedify channel. Apple has launched their new C1 cellular chip. And it is in the iPhone 16e, which is the very latest iPhone. The cheaper version of the 16 that came out later has their chip. Their chip is apparently really nice. It has one downside. It doesn't support Verizon's ultra wideband.
Okay.
So that's stuff where if you can actually see the tower with Verizon line of sight, you can sometimes get gigabit speeds.
Wow.
That doesn't work on the new Apple, but this is the thing that only works for Verizon subscribers. It doesn't work in your house. you have to go out and you have to be able to see the tower. I think it's more technology that they're thinking will be useful in like stadiums. In order to get 50,000 people in the same room online.
Everybody has a line of sight.
That's a cool technology for that case.
Agreed.
Yeah, so we'll see if they use their chip in the iPhone 17.
We'll know soon enough.
Yeah.
June will be
obviously
very telling.
They want to, but as they get experience with the chip, they might be realizing, oh wait, let's wait till the C2. Mm-hmm. I bet you learn a lot in your first.
That's why they put on the low model. See how this does.
Apple should make it powered by Speedify phone.
All Apple phones are powered by Speedify.
You just install Speedify the second you get the phone.
That's right. We got stickers to put on the back of it. Don't sweat it.
Yeah. Oh, there's a link to the video about the C1.
Definitely worth watching.
Yeah. No love lost between Apple and Qualcomm.
Mm-mm.
They're always suing each other.
It's a love-hate. That's a good relationship.
I think it's a hate big dollars.
Yeah, I have no choice but to love you and be with you. Yeah.
I don't think there's any love. I think there's just hate, but so much money.
Yeah.
That you work anyway. So the laser version of Speedify that's out right now is 15.5.1. Oh. All right. Simple Jack says, is there any news on the possibility of self-hosted Speedify server? I got symmetric gigabit WAN at home now. I would like to make use of it. Yeah, this is the top priority on half the developers. They're working on it. Got very sidetracked with hackers and things trying to make themselves unlimited free accounts and using stolen credit cards. And we stayed ahead of them. We seem to have beaten them once again. But man,
takes a toll.
Crap, it takes a toll, right? And the whole server-side team had to run off. It turns out our recaptures captures or whatever had stopped working, and which happens. And the first one we tried moving to didn't work either, right? And all sorts of crap. So painful. Yeah, one thing, have I ranted? At any given time, this company has one developer who's just dealing with some other company's software upgrade and what it broke on us. Yeah. New version of iOS, new version of the App Store, new version of Android.
It's the truth.
New version of Node, new version of Elasticsearch, new version of Ubuntu, right? It just goes around. There's always one person here doing nothing but dealing with the changes that other companies pushed on us. And apparently that's just how this modern age works. As a young developer, I was always like, why don't they let me use whatever programming language I think is right for this job? And the answer is because as soon as you use a different programming language, that's a whole nother list of things that the company has to deal with every time there's an upgrade. And that turns out the cost is so high, you might as well just use the same language as everybody else most of the time. It is not worth introducing a new technology into Stack. But Speedify.
Yes.
This is Speedify running on this M1 Mac Mini that Mike and I are sitting in front of. And check out our internet connection. Wait. What is it? All right. So we got Ethernet. That's, I guess, going to a T-Mobile home internet router. We've got so many routers around. I'm getting confused here. Where's it? Anyway, maybe going to a Miri router with a T-Mobile card net, but whatever. Our Wi-Fi has joined the hotspot off of Starlink. Super cool. And you see we're pulling stats right off of Starlink now. We can see it's normal, not obstructed or anything. There's the amount of data it's actually sending for us. Oh look, it's uploading some data. Then we have cellular, which is this iPhone tethered with USB to AT&T. And then there's a Google Pixel 7 on T-Mobile that is doing pair and share to share its cellular with us over the Wi-Fi. So all very cool. And then you scroll down to the streams, and you can see that we have 2 live streams going. Speedify recognized them as high priority, as applying quality of service and all that good stuff to make sure they get through. So we're streaming to Twitch and to YouTube Live. It occurs to me, the optimal thing, of course, is to only stream to one place, have a streaming server that then sends. Then you need half as much bandwidth. But we're okay. Look, we have 4 internet connections. We might as well do two streams at once. It's fine. So this is a continuous 16 megabits we're sending here, right? 2 8-megabit streams. So that's the magic of Speedify. Putting together all these connections, doing a live stream, and it's fantastic. So when is the next version of Speedify coming, Mike?
Oh, hopefully we're going to get a release out tomorrow, but I'd say Thursday, Friday for sure. Yeah, 15.6, we're working hard on it right now, just capping out the last bit of testing, and we'll be ready to go.
So what's new in it?
Well, some of the new things, we have the Jitter Buffer, if you want to speak about that.
Oh, yeah, so the Jitter Buffer, this was put in, actually, people have asked for it over the years, but we're realizing it is the solution to making live views work great with Speedify devices like the Miri. So what the Jitter Buffer does, and right now it's not in the user interface, it's just in the command line, but anything with the command line, so Mac, Windows, Linux, OpenWRT, all of these support it. There's Speedify CLI, fixed delay. You can purposely set certain ports, TCP, UDP, ping, to have a delay on them. So I can say add 100 milliseconds of Jitter Buffer. And so it'll make the latency worse on that particular connection. But if something bad happens, Speedify is trying to deliver the packets exactly at that time. So if it has to be resent, just pops out consistently. So that gives it a buffer that if there's problems, it can hide the problems from you. So for some software, lowest latency possible is the most important thing. You don't want this. But for some software, consistency is the most important thing. And a lot of live streaming falls under this, right?
Yep.
Because although, I'm interacting with you guys in real time, you wouldn't notice if my video was delayed by an extra half second even. Right? If it's an extra half second for us to see your comments, this stream still works. And if that hides all sorts of glitches and failovers and things like that from you, that you get higher quality video, then that works. At the same time, live video calls where we're talking back and forth, that's brutal, right? So, all right. Where's that guy?
It's something about Kevin.
Kevin, of course.
He's right over there.
Kevin, man, he's right over there. All right. Starlink or Amazon satellite going to give 6G internet? Will there be internet cheaper, too much, or double of current internet? Okay. They are starting to put cellular radios, I think a lot of them are actually 4G, on satellites to give service. But this is going to be an outdoor only thing. Although it is on the real frequencies and stuff, the problem is it's not high enough power. Coming down from a satellite, it is not going to get through your roof.
Yeah, I could imagine. Yeah.
So for people on boats, for people on mountaintops, for people hiking,
that makes sense,
right? As long as they can see the sky, they can still get cellular. I think the satellite services are going to get the kind of crazy, gigabit speeds that 6G is promising, but it won't actually be 6G. Right? You'll get their dish. And, the dishes are shrinking or whatever, but I think it's right. And again, not going to penetrate roofs. Now, as there's more and more competition, yeah, I think prices are going to come down.
Has to, right? They're going to have thousands of satellites, and they're going to need people to use
Amazon
them.
is saying they're going to. They haven't said what their pricing is. They said they're going to lower the cost of satellite internet.
Prime Plus.
Watching, them and Starlink. Yeah, I think they're going to be much cheaper internet services. I think this is going to be great. I think a lot of ISPs who are openly overcharging their customers, because who are you going to go to?
Now we have
are
choices.
Suddenly going to discover that you could go to Starlink or you could go to Kuiper, and so they'll cut you more reasonable prices. So I think yes. I think you are going to discover that everywhere, even in India, where the entrenched players like, I won't name them, the entrenched players are trying desperately to keep these guys out, because if they got in, they'd be forced to lower their prices. I think they're getting in, and I think they're going to lower their prices. So I think this is going to be very good for you. All right. Lyle says, when I run Speedify on my GL.iNET router, I notice that my phones with Speedify shows the Wi-Fi connections ISP is vultured. Does this mean traffic from my phone is getting tunneled twice? One, we should be hiding that from you. It should say Speedify. But yes, if you run Speedify and you on your phone and you connect your router running Speedify, your traffic does get tunneled twice. At one point, we were planning all sorts of clever things to avoid that, but the truth is, there's not so much overhead to it. The speed penalty is not big. Speedify over Speedify works pretty well. So at this point, there's no magic. You do get tunneled twice. I did think we had magic code to notice it and change the ISP.
I thought we had fixed that.
That's what I'm seeing, right?
Yeah. Maybe there's certain servers that still, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. All right, here we go. Here's a brief summary of what I'd like to see in Speedify client. Better networking stat views, okay? Multiple network stat views at the same time, Fully customizable colors for networking stats. I don't know about you, Mike.
I want that so bad. Color picker.
All right. Additional data columns in the router list, such as IP address, total amount of data transferred per interface, custom service bypass settings. Yeah, that's a good list. And of course, bug fixes. There are still a ton of UI bugs in the current client. My gosh, the list is long but difficult to explain briefly. Some one-on-one screenshot sessions. Yeah, shoot an email to support. Maybe Mike can do a call with you. Yeah, this is a very good list. Thank you. Thank you. Can you help me decide my first laptop, Mac versus Windows, Ryzen? I mean, there's a lot of personal opinions here.
There's only one opinion. Go with the fruit. Go with the fruit. No.
Yeah.
Cost is a big factor. What do you
I got to be honest. I just think Windows software is so much better than Mac. But I have an iPhone, and it all just works together so nicely. The ability to just click and pull up my iPhone interface, let the texts go to both the Mac and the phone. So I've switched to the Mac. I'm on the Mac because it works so well with my iPhone, and but interact with the iPhone out of the picture. And I actually think Windows is a better operating system. It just seems I can do anything I want in there. Mac finally, the latest release, you can properly maximize and minimize and snap windows to the side.
Yeah.
They caught up with Windows 10 this year.
I was thinking longevity though.
I mean, really, the Macs last so much.
Yeah, I have a 10-year-old iMac that I still run.
That's absolutely true. So while you look and it says, "Oh man, pay $300 extra for the Mac," you're likely to get 2-3 more years of life out of that Mac.
Yep.
I don't disagree with that. It's absolutely true. In Turkey, the government asked Elon to build a Tesla factory before they allow Starlink.
It's probably underway right now.
These guys, you got to stand up for yourself. These international, Turkey, these international businesses are not going to take care of Turkey unless, Turkey makes them. I was reading, Kenya has all the like rare earth metals. It was Kenya. And they finally said, look, you have to put the battery factory here. They told the foreign companies, we'll let you get the metals you need to make the batteries, but you have to build a battery factory here and make the batteries.
I like that.
You're not just taking our minerals and running. You're gonna create some jobs and stuff here and some exports. I was like,
good for them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That seems right. Prizes. All right. I just learned about Wireguard's hardware needs and was wondering how to push my link perform with better hardware. How well does encryption scale with multiple WAN connections and VPN Speedify? Really well. So Speedify, you definitely want to be running on a device with hardware acceleration of encryption, which is close to everything these days. Raspberry Pi 4s are the one device we were seeing on a regular basis that didn't have hardware acceleration of encryption. And they end out slow, right? The thing hits 100% CPU and something like 500 megabits through Speedify because we're running the cha-cha encryption in software. The Raspberry 5,
boom.
It's all in hardware. You can run it a gigabit and it doesn't hit 20% CPU. I think all the phone chips have hardware. It's getting hard to find it. The other spot we've seen it is entirely virtualized machines.
Okay.
Where the main server will have hardware encryption, but if the settings aren't right when you start a VM to run Speedify, you can accidentally not check the box or uncheck the box
just crazy
to let it use the hardware encryption, and then suddenly it's like, man, why is the software so slow? So that is the doozy.
That's a big check mark.
That's a big check mark, and I think by default it's checked. I think the few people who run into it have accidentally unchecked it. Is the new Cisco quantum chip a big leap or mostly marketing buzz? I think it is just marketing buzz. I don't know. A new chip for interconnecting quantum CPUs. As far as I can tell, there aren't any working quantum CPUs. Seems like nothing to me. I've got my whole rant about quantum. The physics works out. Someday we will have quantum computers. Might still be 30 years away, like it was.
Say that.
10 years ago, 30 years away. Now it's 10 years
30
later, 10 years away. It might be sooner, but I question the value of quantum computers.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
They can take a tiny bit of data and do an unbelievable amount of calculations on it. But as soon as you read the answer out, it erases all the data. The quantum computer, every time you read an answer, that clears all the memory.
That's too much data to hold on to.
No, it's because it's quantum entangled when you're the observer, right? Quantum, if nobody observed the cat's dead and alive inside the box, so your data can be a 1 and a 0 inside the box. It's the same stuff, right? When they talk about how you don't know until you open the box, the cat is both dead and alive. Until you open the box, you have every possible answer floating around in it. But when you open the box,
there's your answer. That's it.
That's it. Entire quantum computer completely erased. Which means, if you want to do a search through a database. People say, oh, if you have a database in a quantum computer,
Mhm.
it can tell you what the fastest record is in a single instruction. You can have billions of records, so it's billions of times faster than a regular computer. That's totally misleading because it erases the whole database. Then you have to load the whole database
Again.
one at a time. You have to go through the billion rows to get it back so that you can do your search in one. But if it's in a regular database, a billion rows with an index, it takes less than a billion instructions to find the largest quantum computer slower. So I think there's very, very limited scenarios where you have this tiny bit of data that you want to do so many calculations on. And I'll tell you what they are. Encryption, trying to test every possible password at the same time on this little message. That's perfect. Traveling salesperson, right? The network optimization. What is the most efficient way to visit every capital in the United States?
One answer.
Right? 50 first choices, 49 second choices, 48 third choices. It blows up into, bigger numbers and grains of sand. You could solve that on a quantum computer. And the third thing is simulating quantum stuff. Right? Super hard. Right? The electron could go every way at once. You need a computer that can go every way at once to keep up. I'm kind of curious. Do you have a community forum or something where people? It's kind of died off. We have a Discord.
Twitter is a good way to reach us. Support is the best way to reach us.
Yeah, but as far as a forum with users, yeah, there's the Discord. I gotta say it hasn't been as active lately. Will Speedify team like to visit the Kolkata Chinese markets on festive season in October? Excited to see you there. Yeah,
I would.
so Kolkata's in the east. I've sort of been on the west coast. I've been to Delhi and Mumbai. I've never been to Calcutta. I hear good things. Actually, a friend of mine just moved there.
Really? Oh,
yeah. A friend of mine, getting old, getting ready to retire, and realizing his money wasn't going quite as far as he needed, and he moved to Calcutta.
Great guy.
Apparently
though.
now he's got a lovely home.
Maybe I'll go stay with him. We'll go to the festival.
Yeah, let me think about this. Lyle says, looking forward to demonstrating Speedify at the class I'm teaching this weekend at Overland Expo West. Off-grid internet for digital nomads. Wow. Nice.
Record it. Tag us. We want to see that.
Yeah, tag us. That's right. That sounds great. All right. What haven't we talked about? Yeah, do check out our YouTube. A bunch of new videos. There are ones we talked about Project Kuiper. And over the last couple of weeks, we've talked about the C1 chips and stuff. All right. Our Chief Technical Officer asks Lyle, could you send logs when the ISP shows as Vulture? I guess it's Vulture, not Vulture. But anyway, point is, well, we'd like to see logs from that. And do follow us on X, as Babs points out. All right, I think we are good here. This has been great. Great. You guys have been really interesting. I've enjoyed talking to you. Mike, thanks for taking some time out of your busy day to join us here.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you all online.